Have you ever heard of Sir George Abraham Grierson?
Yes, I have. He was an Irish linguist who made significant contributions to the study of Indian languages. He qualified for the Indian Civil Service in 1871 and arrived in Bengal in 1873. He was posted in Bihar and eventually became a magistrate in Patna.
Right. And in 1898, he was appointed as the superintendent for the Linguistic Survey of India, which was a massive undertaking. He even went to England to consult European libraries and collaborated with linguists and scholars from various disciplines to complete the survey.
That's impressive. Grierson managed to document 364 languages and dialects spoken in the Indian territories. He retired from the Indian Civil Service in 1903, but by then, he had collected all the necessary language data. He spent 3 more years editing the materials before publishing the volumes under the title Linguistic Survey of India.
India is truly a multilingual and multicultural country, with 4 major language families: Austroasiatic, Dravidian, Indo-Aryan, and Tibeto-Burman. Northeast India, in particular, has speakers from all 4 language families.
According to Grierson, the Tibeto-Burman languages are a subfamily of the Indo-Chinese group. He classified these languages into 3 main groups: Tibeto-Himalayan and North Assam branch, Bodo-Naga and Kashin group, Kuki-Chin and Barma group.
Let's delve into the Tibeto-Himalayan group first. Grierson further divided this group into 2, Tibetan or Bhanti Ladakhi, Balti, and Purok spoken in Jammu and Kashmir. Also classified them into pronominal and non-pronominal languages. For example, Kanawari of Uttarankal, Himachal, Limbu, Rai, Dimal, Kambu, Thami of Nepal, and Sikkim are identified as pronominal languages. On the other hand, Gurung, Mormi, Sunwar, and Nuari are identified as non-pronominal languages.
Interesting. The North Assam branch was classified based on geographical boundaries. Then there's the Bodo-Naga and Kashin group. The Bodo group includes languages like Bodo, Kakari, Dimasa Kakari, Lalang, Kutch, Rabha, Shudia, Moran, Garo, and Tripuri, which are spread in and around the Brahmaputra Valley, North Kashmir Hills, Garo Hills of Meghalaya, and Tripura.
As for the Naga languages, they are spoken in Nagaland, Tarap, and Changlang districts of Arunachal Pradesh and the Hale districts of Manipur, except the Chandipur district. 16 major languages are spoken in Nagaland, including Ao, Angami, Kaya, Poshuri, Rengma, Zemi, Liangmai, Sima, Lotha, Konyak, Chang, Santham, Yamchungru, Phum, and Kamangan.
Additionally, Nakht, Wangcho, and Tangsa are spoken in Arunachal Pradesh. Mao, Thankhul, Rongmai, and Liangmai are spoken in Arunachal Pradesh as well. The Kuki-Chin group of languages is spoken in Mizoram, the southern and western hill districts of Manipur, North Kashmir Hills district of Assam, parts of Tripura Hills, and pockets of Tarap and Changlang areas of Nagaland.
Singpo is the only Kashin language of India, spoken in parts of Tarap and Changlang districts of Arunachal Pradesh. Zemi, Liangmai, Rongmai, Kabui, and Koiro languages form a link between the Naga and Bodo groups of languages. Similarly, Mao, Sopvoma, Tangkhul, Muram, and Mering languages of the northern and eastern Hale districts of Manipur, and the Karbi language of Karbi Hale districts of Assam, are classified under the Naga Kuki subgroup of the Naga group, forming a link between Naga and Kuki-Chin languages.
Meitei and Mizo, previously known as Leshai, are important Kuki-Chin languages. Other languages in the Kuki-Chin group in Nagaland include Pate, Mar, Thadu, Gangt, Simt, Zu, and Kham.
In terms of script, Assamese and Bengali scripts are derived from Brahmi with slight modifications. The Old Meitei/Manipuri script is also derived from Brahmi. Kamtai, Rong/Lepcha, and Limbu Karanti also have their own scripts. Most of the tribal languages spoken in the Northeast have adopted the Roman script.
Grierson's work was truly comprehensive and laid a significant foundation for the linguistic study of Indian languages.
Let's talk about the Kuki-Chin group of languages. This group includes languages spoken in Mizoram, the southern and western Hale districts of Manipur, North Kashmir Hills district of Assam, parts of Tripura Hills, and pockets of Tarap and Changlang areas of Nagaland.
Yes, the Kuki-Chin group is quite diverse. Some important Kyokushin languages include Meitei and Mizo, which was previously known as Lushai. Other languages in this group are Pate, Mar, Thadu, Gangt, Simt, Zu, and Kham.
Interestingly, the Singpo language acts as a link between the Naga and Bodo groups of languages. It's the only Kashin language of India, spoken in parts of Tarap and Changlang districts of Arunachal Pradesh.
Speaking of links between language groups, Zemi, Liang Mai, Rong Mai, Kabui, and Koiral languages form a link between the Naga and Bodo groups of languages. Similarly, Mao, Sapvoma, Tangkhul, Muram, and Marin languages of the northern and eastern hill districts of Manipur, and the Karbi language of Karbi hill districts of Assam, are classified under the Naga Kuki subgroup of the Naga group, which forms a link between Naga and Kyokushin languages.
Most of the tribal languages spoken in the northeast have adopted the Roman script, which is quite widespread. However, some languages have their own unique scripts. For instance, Assamese and Bengali scripts are derived from Brahmi with slight modifications. The Old Meitei/Manipuri script is also derived from Brahmi.
That's right. Additionally, Khamtai, Rong/Lepcha, and Limbu, Kiranti have their own scripts, which is fascinating. It's amazing how diverse the scripts and languages are in this region. Gersson's work in documenting and classifying these languages is truly invaluable.
Now, let's talk about distribution of languages in Northeast India.
Hey, have you ever looked into the geographical and linguistic diversity of Northeast India? It's fascinating how varied it is.
Yeah, it's quite unique. The region includes states like Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, and Sikkim, covering around 4,500 kilometers. All these states share international borders with various countries.
Exactly. For instance, Assam shares its borders with Bangladesh and Bhutan. The whole region is connected to the rest of India through a narrow strip called the Siliguri Corridor, or Chicken's Neck, in West Bengal. It's quite a strategic area.
That's true. And Assam is particularly interesting. It's the gateway to the northeast, connecting to almost all other northeastern states except Sikkim. It's also the largest state in the region in terms of land and population, lying in the center of the Brahmaputra Valley.
Yes, and linguistically, Assam is incredibly diverse. According to the Census of India 2001, there are 114 languages spoken in Assam. The main language is Assamese, which is the mother tongue for over 13 million people.
Wow, that's a lot. Bengali is also widely spoken by more than 7 million people, making it the second most spoken language in Assam. Hindi comes in third, spoken by over 1 million people, and Bodo is also significant with more than 1 million speakers.
Speaking of linguistic diversity, Assam has languages from several different language families. The Tibeto-Burman languages are quite prominent here. For example, Miri/Mishing is spoken by over 500,000 people, Karbi/Makir by over 400,000, and Manipuri by about 150,000.
And it's not just Tibeto-Burman languages. There are also Indo-Aryan languages like Hindi, Nepali, Oriya, and Punjabi. For instance, Nepali is spoken by over 500,000 people, Oriya by more than 230,000, and Hindi by over 1 million.
That's right. Plus, there are Dravidian languages like Karuk/Aran, Telugu, and Tamil spoken by smaller communities. For example, Karuk/Aran has about 72,000 speakers, and Telugu and Tamil have around 27,000 and 5,600 speakers, respectively.
Don't forget the Austroasiatic languages. Although fewer in number, languages like Santali and Mandari are spoken by around 240,000 and 32,000 people, respectively.
Indeed, Assam's linguistic landscape is a true melting pot. The diversity in language reflects the rich cultural heritage and historical migrations in the region. It's really fascinating to see how different linguistic groups coexist and interact in Assam.
Hey, have you ever explored the geographical details and international boundaries of the northeastern states of India? It's pretty fascinating.
Absolutely, it's an intriguing region. The Northeast includes states like Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, and Sikkim. These states cover about 4,500 kilometers, and each one shares international borders with various countries.
Yes, let's break it down. Assam, for instance, shares its borders with Bangladesh and Bhutan. It's often considered the gateway to the northeast and connects to all other northeastern states except Sikkim.
That's right. Arunachal Pradesh, on the other hand, shares borders with Bhutan to the west, China to the north, and Myanmar to the east. It's a strategically significant area due to these international borders.
Manipur shares its border with Myanmar, which influences its cultural and economic exchanges. Similarly, Mizoram shares borders with both Myanmar and Bangladesh, adding to the region's diversity.
Meghalaya shares its border with Bangladesh. It's interesting how these international borders impact the local cultures and economies. For example, cross-border trade is quite common.
Nagaland also shares its border with Myanmar, which has led to historical and cultural ties with the ethnic groups across the border. Tripura shares a long border with Bangladesh, facilitating significant interaction between the two regions.
And then there's Sikkim, which shares its borders with China to the north and east, Nepal to the west, and Bhutan to the southeast. This makes Sikkim a unique melting pot of cultures from these neighboring countries.
Indeed. The whole of the northeast is connected to the rest of India through a narrow strip called the Siliguri Corridor, or Chicken's Neck, in West Bengal. This corridor is crucial for the movement of people and goods between the northeast and the rest of India.
Now, focusing specifically on Assam, it's centrally located in the Brahmaputra Valley and is the largest state in the region both in terms of land area and population. It shares borders with Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, and Tripura.
Geographically, Assam is rich in natural resources, with the Brahmaputra River playing a central role in its landscape and economy. It's also surrounded by hills and has a diverse ecosystem.
Linguistically, Assam is incredibly diverse. According to the Census of India 2001, there are 114 languages spoken in the state. Assamese is the official language and the mother tongue for over 13 million people.
Bengali is also widely spoken by more than 7 million people, making it the second most spoken language in Assam. Hindi occupies the third place, spoken by over 1 million people, followed by Bodo, which is spoken by more than 1 million as well.
That's quite a linguistic mix. Assam also has languages from different language families. The Tibeto-Burman languages are quite prominent. For example, Miri/Mishing is spoken by over 500,000 people, Karbi/Makir by over 400,000, and Manipuri by about 150,000.
Exactly. And there are Indo-Aryan languages like Hindi, Nepali, Oriya, and Punjabi. Nepali is spoken by over 500,000 people, Oriya by more than 230,000, and Hindi by over 1 million.
Plus, there are Dravidian languages like Kuruk/Aran, Telugu, and Tamil spoken by smaller communities. For example, Kuruk/Aran has about 72,000 speakers, and Telugu and Tamil have around 27,000 and 5,600 speakers, respectively.
Not to forget the Austroasiatic languages. Although fewer in number, languages like Santali and Mandari are spoken by around 240,000 and 32,000 people, respectively.
Assam's linguistic landscape truly reflects its rich cultural heritage and historical migrations. It's fascinating how different linguistic groups coexist and interact in Assam, making it a vibrant and diverse state.
We've discussed Assam's linguistic landscape before, but what about the other northeastern states? According to the Census of India 2001, the region's linguistic diversity is remarkable.
Absolutely. Let's start with Arunachal Pradesh. The official language here is English, but there is a local link language called Nephalese, a mix of Assamese, Hindi, English, and local languages. The state has a variety of languages from different families. Tibeto-Burman languages are predominant. For instance, Nisi/Tfla is spoken by 208,337 people, Adi by 193,379, and Minpa by 55,428.
And what about Indo-Aryan languages in Arunachal Pradesh?
Indo-Aryan languages like Bengali are spoken by 97,149 people, Nepali by 94,919, Hindi by 81,186, and Assamese by 51,551. Dravidian languages like Malayalam have 5,583 speakers, Telugu 1,573, and Kuruk around 1,132.
Moving on to Manipur, Mithilan is the official language. The state has a rich presence of Tibeto-Burman languages. Manipuri, spoken by 1,266,098 people, is the most prominent. Other Tibeto-Burman languages include the Do with 178,696 speakers and Tangkhal with 133,979.
Indeed, and Indo-Aryan languages in Manipur include Nepali spoken by 45,998 people, Bengali by 27,100, and Hindi by 24,720. There are also Dravidian languages like Tamil, spoken by 2,279 people, and Malayalam by 1,231.
Meghalaya is another interesting case. The official languages are Khasi, Garo, and English. Khasi, belonging to the Austroasiatic family, is spoken by 1,091,087 people. Garo, a Tibeto-Burman language, is spoken by 728,424 people.
For Indo-Aryan languages in Meghalaya, Bengali is spoken by 185,692 people, Nepali by 52,155, and Hindi by 50,055. Dravidian languages like Malayalam are spoken by around 2,000 people, and Tamil by 950.
Mizoram has Mizo as the official language. Tibeto-Burman languages dominate here, with Lachai/Mizo spoken by 650,605 people. Other Tibeto-Burman languages include Pawi with 24,900 speakers and Pate with 14,367.
Mizoram also has Indo-Aryan languages like Bengali, spoken by 80,389 people, and Hindi by 10,530. The Dravidian language Malayalam is spoken by 1,322 people, and Tamil by 431.
Nagaland is another linguistically diverse state with English as the official language and Nagamese as a lingua franca. Nagamese is a Creole language combining Assamese and various Naga languages. Among Tibeto-Burman languages, Ao is spoken by 257,500 people, and Konyak by 248,002.
Indo-Aryan languages in Nagaland include Bengali, spoken by 58,890 people, and Hindi by 56,981. Dravidian languages like Malayalam have 3,901 speakers, Tamil 1,441, and Telugu 1,295.
Sikkim's official languages are English, Nepali, Sikkimese, and Lepcha. Nepali, an Indo-Aryan language, is spoken by 338,606 people. Tibeto-Burman languages include Pasha with 41,825 speakers and Lepcha with 35,728.
Dravidian languages in Sikkim include Malayalam, spoken by 1,021 people, Tamil by 515, and Telugu by 484. Austroasiatic languages like Santali have around 80 speakers.
Finally, Tripura has Bengali and Kokborok as official languages. Bengali, an Indo-Aryan language, is spoken by 147,994 people, while the Tibeto-Burman language Tripuri is spoken by 814,375 people.
Indo-Aryan languages in Tripura also include Hindi, spoken by 53,691 people, and Oriya by 28,850. Tibeto-Burman languages include Manipuri, spoken by 29,716 people. Dravidian languages like Telugu are spoken by 3,812 people.
The linguistic landscape of Northeast India truly reflects its rich cultural heritage and historical migrations. Each state has its unique blend of languages from different families, creating a vibrant and diverse region.
Now let's talk about classification of Tibeto-Burman languages.
Hi, have you ever thought about the classification of Tibeto-Burman languages?
Yeah, it's quite fascinating how languages are grouped based on shared basic or common vocabularies. For instance, Tibetan and Burmese share a lot of vocabulary with other languages like English, Hindi, Nepali, Bengali, Assamese, Manipuri, and many others.
Exactly. It's interesting how languages can be named by the native speakers for their identity. However, there are exceptions where people identify themselves differently from their language, like in the case of American, Australian, and African.
Right. Then we also have languages created as common or linked languages for communicative purposes among speakers of various languages in a particular area, like Nagamese in Nagaland and Nepalese in Arunachal Pradesh.
That's a good point. The classification of languages is all about grouping them into separate categories. Tibeto-Burman languages fall into the broader Sino-Tibetan family. This group combines Tibetan and Burmese languages.
And did you know the Tibeto-Burman group is numerically the largest in the world? The Burmese language alone has about 32 million speakers, while the Tibetic group has around 8 million.
I read that Julius Klaproth, in 1823, noted the Chinese, Burmese, and Tibetan languages share common basic words. Later, Ernst Kuhn and August Conrad added that the Indo-Chinese family consists of two branches, Tibeto-Burman and Chinese Siamese, including Thai languages based on vocabulary and typological features.
That's right. Jean Prelutsky introduced the term Sino-Tibetan, which includes all three families, Sino-Tibetan, Tibeto-Burman, and Thai languages. The Tibetan group of languages is spoken in the Tibetan Plateau and neighborhood areas like Baltistan, Ladakh, Nepal, Sikkim, and Bhutan.
And these languages, such as the East Bodish languages, are spoken in Bhutan and Arunachal Pradesh. The Tibeto-Burman languages are widely spoken on the southern slopes of the Himalayas, including West Himalayic languages in Himachal Pradesh and western Nepal, Tamangic languages in western Nepal, and Kiranti languages in eastern Nepal.
Yes, Nur is spoken in central Nepal, Magarik in central Nepal, and Lepcha in eastern and western Nepal. There is a great variety of languages and subgroups from northern Burma to northeast India. Northern Burma is home to the Nungish group and Kashing-Luk languages, including Jingpo.
That's an interesting region. The Brahmaputran or Sao languages, like Bodo-Kak and Konyak languages, are spoken from northern Burma through Nagaland, Meghalaya, and Tripura. The border highlands of Nagaland, Manipur, and western Burma are home to languages like Ao, Angami Poshuri, Tangkhul, and Zamkarbi.
In Manipur, Meitei is the main language, along with Kuki-Chin, Mizoram, and Mru in the Chittagong Hills of Bangladesh. Robert Schaefer worked on classifying these languages but couldn't complete it. His tentative classification placed the Chinese language within the Sino-Tibetan family despite his personal beliefs.
Paul Benedict joined Schaefer and finalized a tentative classification, dividing Sino-Tibetan into Chinese and Tibeto-Karen, which includes Karen and Tibeto-Burman. Tibeto-Burman was further divided into 7 branches, like Tibetan Kanore, which itself splits into Bodish and Himalayic languages.
Bodish includes languages like Tibetan, Jurung, Takpa, Sangla, Mormi, and Gurung. Himalayic divides into major and minor groups. Major Himalayic has Rangkas, Dharmiya, Shodangsi, and Byangsi, while minor Himalayic includes Dorgai, Lepcha, and Magari.
There's also the Bahing Vayu branch, which splits into Bahing with languages like Sunwar and Kaling, Kambu with Sampang, Rungchanbung, Yaka, and Limbu, and Vayu Shapang with Nuer. The Aber-Meritfla group includes languages like Aka, Digaro, Miju, and Dimel.
Kashin includes Luish, and the Burmese Lolo group is significant too. The Bodo-Garo, aka Barish, group includes Naked Naga and aka Konyak, while Kuki Naga, aka Kukish, includes Karbi, Meitei, and Mru.
James Matisoff, in 1978, modified Benedict's classification by including the Semitic languages and demoting Karen. He classified the Sino-Tibetan family into 7 groups based on word order, Bank and Karenic of Svo, subject-verb-object order, while the rest have Sof, subject-object-verb order.
Matisoff's classification divides the Sino-Tibetan family into Chinese and Tibeto-Burman. The Tibeto-Burman group is further divided based on geographical and linguistic proposals into Kemarupan, Himalayic, Kiangic, Luburmese Naxi, Karenic, Baik, and Tujia, which is unclassified.
Bradley, in 2002, incorporated much of the newer data, starting with Benedict's 1972 work. He classified Sino-Tibetan languages into 5 groups: Western Bodic, which includes Tibetan and Himalayish languages. The Eastern group includes Kiranti, and the Western group includes Nuer, Shapang, Magar, Tongmi, and Baram.
He also identified Sao languages, Central languages, Northeastern group, and Southeastern group. Each classification offers a unique perspective on the relationships and divisions within the Tibeto-Burman language family.
Indeed, the study of these languages provides insights into the cultural and historical connections among the people in these regions.
Hi, have you ever taken a look at the scenery in the regions where Tibetan languages are spoken? It's breathtaking.
Absolutely. The Tibetan Plateau and its neighboring areas like Baltistan, Ladakh, Nepal, Sikkim, and Bhutan are stunning. Speaking of Tibetan languages, they are part of the larger Tibeto-Burman language family.
That's right. The Tibeto-Burman languages are themselves a subset of the Sino-Tibetan language family. Interestingly, the Burmese group of languages also falls under this family.
Yes, the Burmese group is significant, with over 32 million speakers primarily in Burma, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and southwest China. There's also the Thai languages, which are often considered part of this broader family due to shared vocabulary and typological features.
Jean Prelutsky made an important contribution by introducing the term Sino-Tibetan to include all 3 families: Sino-Tibetan, Tibeto-Burman, and the Thai group of languages. His division helps in understanding the vast expanse of these languages.
Speaking of divisions, the area where Tibetan languages are spoken extends to the Tibetan Plateau and highlands from northern Burma to northeast India. These languages are part of the greater Tibeto-Burman group, which includes languages spoken in the West Himalayas like Tamang, Kiranti, and even newer, Magaric, and Lepcha in central and eastern Nepal.
Yes, the highlands from northern Burma to northeast India are particularly diverse in terms of languages. For example, northern Burma is home to the Jingpo language, which is part of the Nungish group.
Another interesting area is the Brahmaputran or Sao languages. These include languages like Bodo Kutch and Konyak, spoken in northern Burma through Nagaland, Meghalaya, and Tripura. The borders of Nagaland and Manipur also host languages like Ao, Angami Poshuri, Tangkhul, and Zamkarbi.
In Manipur, the main language is Meitei, but you also find Kukichin languages and others like those spoken in Mizoram and the Mru language in the Chittagong Hills of Bangladesh. The region is quite linguistically rich.
Indeed. The work of Robert Schaefer and Paul Benedict on classifying these languages is crucial. Schaefer's classification included Chinese within the Sino-Tibetan family, and Benedict further refined this by joining Schaefer and proposing a tentative classification of the Tibeto-Burman group.
Benedict and Schaefer imagined Sino-Tibetan as having 2 branches, Chinese and Tibeto-Karen, with the latter including Karen and Tibeto-Burman. They divided Tibeto-Burman into 7 branches, such as Tibetan Kanuri, which itself splits into Bodish and Himalayish languages.
Bodish includes languages like Tibetan, Jirung, Takpa, Tsangla, Mormi, and Gurung. Himalayish further divides into major and minor groups. Major Himalayish includes Renkas, Dharmiya, Chodangsi, and Biangsi, while minor Himalayish includes Dorgai, Lepcha, and Magari.
Another branch is Bahingvayu, which splits into subgroups like Bahing with Sunware and Kaling, Kambyu with languages like Sampang and Limbu, and Vyushapang with Newer. The Aber-Meridfla group includes aka, Digaro, Miju, and Dimil.
The Kashin group includes Luish, and there's the Burmese Lolo group as well. The Bodo-Garo, aka Barish, group includes languages like Naked Naga and aka Konyak, while Kuki-Naga, aka Kukish, includes Karbi, Meitei, and Mru.
James Matisoff, in 1978, modified Benedict's classification by including Semitic languages and demoting Karen. He classified Sino-Tibetan into groups based on word order. Baik and Karenic languages have SVO, subject-verb-object, order, while the remaining branches have SOF, subject-object-verb, order.
Matisoff's classification divides Sino-Tibetan into Chinese and Tibeto-Burman, with the latter split based on geographical and linguistic proposals into groups like Kamarupan, Himalayish, Kyanjik, and Lubermese Naxi, among others.
Bradley, in 2002, built on Benedict's work and incorporated newer data. He classified Sino-Tibetan languages into 5 groups: Western Bodic, which includes Tibetan and Himalayish languages, and others like the Eastern Group, Kiranti, and Western Group with languages like Nuer, Shapang, Magar, Tongmi, and Baram.